Welcome to Flappers, folks. I tell you, this prohibition thing is tough. I said, that's a fine how do you do. See?
Hello, and welcome to Flappers Presents. This is our third episode, so we have the amazing J.D. Witherspoon with us today.
What up?
Joshua Snyder, the booker, and I'm Barbara Holliday, the owner of Flappers Comedy Club and Restaurant. Welcome. I brought you a gift.
Yes.
It's an emotional support chicken.
Look at this. It's very on brand.
Just to kind of kick things off. Well, on brand, I mean, what an honor it is to have you. If I may tell our viewers that you are the son of the great
Yes, John
Witherspoon.
That's my dad. Yes, he was.
Best friend of David Letterman.
Yeah, that's my goddad, actually. That's what JD stands for, John and David. That's what it stands for. Me and Dave talk a lot. Like, I chat with him fairly frequently.
That part I did not know.
Yeah, I think I remember growing up, and I was like, if you go back and watch an episode of Letterman where my dad was on, it had to be 80-something because I was born 88. So he might have filmed it in 89. But my dad's on there, and he's showing baby pictures of me. And Dave's like, oh, yeah, you got a new son. He's like, yeah. And he's yelling out to the crowd. And Dave, the Godfather. It's so wacky.
Oh, I'm going to go watch that
now.
Yeah,
it's on the internet. But no, Dave is definitely a very close family friend. He was my dad's best man at his wedding. So he chats with me. I send him text messages when I see random stuff online that I think's funny. And he'll be like, oh, yeah, John D., how are you? So that's, I don't know, goofy dude. I've known him forever.
Did you ever get to watch an episode or live? Did you go?
Yeah, I was a baby on set. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So, like, I feel like, well, no, my early, because it's funny because I do a podcast called Ad Lib. I haven't sat down with Dave on mine yet. I told him I'd like him to be on it if he's open to it. And he said, yeah, whenever I'm in L.A. And my intro question to every episode is, how did we meet, if the person and I have that kind of relationship? And I'm curious to know what he would remember, because he was obviously old enough to have a memory. I was 4 or 5 where I remember being on the set of The Late Show, and we would go every Christmas because he would have my dad on during Christmases. So that's like a thing where it's like I'd always remember that like New York trip around like early Christmas time, because we would go and do his show, and then we would go to my mother's side of the family in D.C. and celebrate Christmas there. So, random tidbit.
Can I just say, I wanted to throw out at the top a compliment for you, which is that you own the fact that you are the son of John Witherspoon, because there's a lot of performers who have kind of the opposite mentality.
I mean, I think
not to judge them, everyone's on their own path, but I think it's really, I really had a lot of respect for you for that.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is like, I think it's funny because people still to this day don't know that, because I don't look exactly like him. I think with age I'm getting closer to looking and sounding like him, but
bring up a picture.
Y'all got Google. Y'all do a little work. They'll find them. Yeah, just pops from the Wayans Brothers, Friday Dad, Boondocks, the Wayne Grandpa. But no, yeah, it's funny, the concept of owning that your parents are in the biz. I think it's one of those things where I never bring it up unless it's genuinely a conversation starter or question. Like if someone's like, what do your parents do? I always used to be like, oh, my dad thinks he's funny. I'd be
Which
like,
we all say about our dads, I think.
Right? But yeah, and then they'd be like, oh, okay. And then they'd randomly, like if they follow me or if they come over to, that was actually funny when I was a kid. If people came to my house and I didn't really break that down, then my dad would just like walk through the kitchen or go past us to the bathroom. And then, like, people would do, like, a double take. Like, wait, am I crazy? Isn't that the dude from that one thing? And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's my dad. And they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, oh, I mean, I didn't think it was interesting enough to bring up.
I'm unfortunately or fortunately of the age that I actually know your father better than I know you.
Yeah, of course.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
I'm an old
sure.
lady now. But, no, it's interesting. You were born in 88.
Born in 88.
Yeah, I graduated college in 89. So you're 1 year old.
Yeah.
Would you think you got this comedy absorption from your dad and Letterman? And, like, what made you want to think you could do this?
It's funny. I think I was just around it for however long and never wanted anything to do with it. I was a kid. I grew up in L.A. I grew up here in the Valley. I wanted to be, like, an artist and animator. I draw very well and paint, and I went to school for art. and I'm very capable. And if I want to pull a Jim Carrey and start making paintings, I will, or even a Kevin Nealon. They're both very talented artists. But yeah, no, I got into college and just had no idea how to turn my current existence of being an artist into a career. I think I got to college and I was like, okay, yeah, art's all I know. I'll just keep doing art. And then I got into like my second year or first year of college and I was like, I don't know how to make a living off of like being an artist. And I also didn't, it was kind of like my fun hobby. So I never thought like, oh yeah, I guess I want to do this as work. I just like really enjoyed doing it. But a part of me was like, oh, maybe I'll be like an animator at Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network, which used to be down the street and all that other stuff. But then I had friends who told me I'm funny, I should be on TV. Because I've always been funny, outgoing, and not super, like always decent at public speaking, not really scared of like being out there and talking to people. Kind of like class clownish, but more just like I grew up around a lot of people who are just always showcasing their, you know, whatever, they're speaking freely. And and I think I just had friends who were like, why don't you get on TV? And I'm like, nah. I was like, I remember being like 18, 19. I'm like, nah. I was like, I got a guy in my family. He does that. I don't need to do that. You know, I was like, I don't feel like doing the family business. And they were like, I don't know, man. You're always making us laugh in class. It just seems like you would be on television or something. And I'm like, you think? And they were like, yeah. Like, you're always making us distracted in class trying to crack a joke or trying to be silly or something. And I'm like, well, that's just me, baby. That's just what I like to do. But, yeah, and then and stand-up was the same. I had a friend dare me to do it. And he dared me to do it off of a random night where we were in Hollywood and went by one of the clubs, and I knew the owner, and the owner was talking to me and my friend like, you guys should be comedians, because he knew my dad.
What club was that?
It was a Factory, Laugh Factory.
Okay,
and Jamie,
and
Jamie
Masada,
Masada, he used to like babysit me when my dad had spots over there. So like when I'm like between the ages of like 0 to 10, Jamie would have to watch me in the lobby, and he always tells me that. He's like, buddy, I used to carry you in my arms, and your papa would be on stage telling jokes, and then he'd let you come back and take you home. I'm like, cool, man. So, but yeah, I remember one night in our early 20s, me and my friend swung by there, and then Jamie kept telling my friend, you guys should do stand-up. And Jamie even was like, I see you're finally ready to be a comic like your dad. I was like, I do not want to be a comic.
Great impression of Jamie Masada.
That's how he sounds. Everyone I do impressions of is just how I remember them in the moment. And yeah, no, for sure. But I do remember that being the reason I got started.
That is the core of your I mean, you do a lot of impressions,
I'm
right?
I'm capable. I used to do more when I first started. I don't do as many now. I do like I will use impersonations and or impressions of people that I like know personally, or jokes about people that I want to talk about. In a way where it's like I'm just kind of retelling the story through my lens.
What's your impression of me as a club owner?
I think you're cool. I like a club. Listen, I got.
What do I sound like?
What do you sound like?
Yeah.
You kind of sound like what's almost like a kind of like a cartoon in the way. Like, what do I sound like? Oh, how's it going, everybody? Hey. Barbara here. Hey. I can't do ladies' voices as well as I wish. Unless they're super high pitched cartoony. Like,
I'm gonna take that as a compliment. I think.
You know.
Yeah.
I got a deep voice, so there's that.
How fun.
But yeah, no. So yeah, and then me and my friend did the open mic.
Is your friend someone we would know?
No, he bombed. He bombed.
Oh, he gave up?
No, we did
Failed?
we did the 3-minute clean. I did fairly decent. He bombed, and I was like, I guess I'll keep trying this. And then because I was acting at that point, and I looked at stand up like a tool that I could use in my acting and my and improv. I just kind of looked at it like, oh, this is a tool to the arsenal of being an entertainer. And then stand up became like way more entertaining for me, because I was like, at least I'm getting like immediate feedback instead of like auditioning as an actor and never hearing back and not knowing. You know, you could have been amazing, but they're just like, oh, sorry, you're too tall, you're too short. We gave it to someone who we were already offering it to. So stand-up is like a great way for you to at least gauge if what you're doing is working.
And argue with the person who's giving you feedback. That's
if it gets to that.
That ain't true.
Yeah.
We hear that sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you have brothers and sisters?
I have a younger brother who is a musician. He's a producer. He's 8 years my junior. So he's 29, I'm 37. And completely different worlds. He's like way more introverted. I'm also an introvert, but I just work in the extroverted field. But he's way more to himself, makes music. He plays piano like a savant. And we both have like similar upbringings, but he found music and he knew he wanted to do music at a young age, which I admired. I was like, I am 20-something. I have no idea what I want to do. He was like 14 and being like, yeah, I think I'm going to do music. And I'm like, good for you. Decisive. Not me. No idea what's happening.
Don't you think most stand-ups are introverts? I find like
Yeah.
a lot of comedians. I mean, I personally am not really an introvert, but I don't know. There's different levels of introversy, I guess. Like I'm around people a lot of the time, and I'm very outgoing. But then when I'm alone, I just want to be alone for like days on end.
I don't think there's such a thing as an extrovert. I think that's a myth. I think
know what?
we're all introverts.
Yeah.
I hear that. I think that's kind of true because it's funny because I'm super extroverted in my performances and what I have to do. Right. But yeah, if you put me in a room full of people I don't know, I don't want to be the one to say hi. That's also just my...
that's me!
That's like more of me having more of an avoidant attachment style though too. Like I was just like, oh, you know, but I think I've gotten better at that with time is like going out of my way to speak up, meet, or even giving yourself a goal. Like if you go to as a comic, if you go to like a show that you don't know people, just introduce yourself to 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or something. You know, an open mic if you're starting there, like that's a good way. So it's like, hey, how long you been doing it? I started this week. Yeah. What made you want to start? Blah, blah, blah. You never know. I think that's a good way to go about life. But
well, to tap into your podcast, how did we meet? How did you end up at Flappers?
I think I was miking. I definitely was open miking, for sure. Oh, no. Yeah, absolutely. I was doing the bar show. I definitely was doing the bar show way back when.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've been doing
it. With like
it.
Gerard Carmichael days?
You know what? Maybe he was around. Well, I started in 2010. I think we started around similar times. I don't know if I saw Gerard. I definitely saw Preacher here first time.
Yes, Preacher was just here the other night again.
Hilarious, which is funny because I've told Preacher this. I was like, when I saw you perform the first time, I was like, he's got way too much energy. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I was like, he'll do a backflip right now for the 6 of us who are just trying to get one good joke off. Which I was like, that's impressive. which is funny because I know he's like toned down since then, but it's also made him a superstar, which is amazing.
Yeah.
That's just who he was. He's just an outgoing, fun guy who's just like, I just want to have fun. But yeah, no, I do remember the days of coming by and, since I'm more close to the Valley, I was just like, oh, well, Flappers has a mic around this time. I'll go work on something new, test it out, and then eventually got to the point where I was like, okay, I should be introducing myself to the people who run the ship here because I feel like I'm good enough and have enough material to get on this stage consistently. And then it just, continued.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Now we're podcasting.
Yeah, now we're podcasting. Did you think, I'm curious about the impressions, how you started, because there's sort of this thing in stand-up where, like, impressions and magic and novelty aren't like stand-up. Did you battle with that at all?
You know what's funny is I never did impressions until I went to a mic and some lady heard me try one jokingly. I think I was doing like a Denzel, which I don't think I can do an amazing one. I think like I always do impressions based off of how well I hear it in my head.
Give us the bad one.
Wait, hold on. I don't want to do anyone yet. Wait.
Snakes on a plane.
No, that's Sam Jackson. Look at her mixing up her black people.
God. I am horrible.
Denzel is the okay, all right, my man. But no, she just said, "Do you do impressions?" And I was like, "No, I don't really do." I was like, "I know how to do them, but I don't do them all the time." And she was like, "Oh, you gotta." And then I started doing more. But then I remember there was like a stint where I was doing like 5, maybe or however many years of me feeling like I had too many impersonation jokes. It was like impersonation, something different, impersonation, something different, impersonation, and I was like, "You're too reliant on it." Which it's a great skill to have as a comedian. And I think a part of me just wants to make sure that I come out in my material more than the characters or people I can do, because then, you can almost get put into a box of like, oh, you're the person who does other people.
Yeah.
And that's nothing against people who do it. I know plenty of people have made great careers off of it. Matt
Do
Friend.
you?
Yeah, yeah. No, you got like just, I think I was just like, well, I'm funny. I can just write things that are from my perspective. And then if there's jokes, like if I tell stories about my dad, I do my dad's voice because I have it in my brain verbatim. But that's my dad. It's not
and
like...
that's called, we call that in comedy an act out.
Yeah.
So that's part of stand-up, really.
Yeah. But if I was like like back in the day, it would be more like, oh, I got a Jay-Z joke, or I got a Cat Williams joke, or here's a Trump joke, or here's a whatever. And then it's like, and I will say this, it's low-hanging fruit. You can get big laughs real quick if you do it well.
Yes.
Like if you're good at it, if you could get right into if you can go right into the impression because everyone, it's relatable for everybody.
Right.
It's one of those things where it's like, oh, that guy that you sound like does do that.
But
so
you don't even have to say anything.
You don't have to really do much. You could just be like, chicken. like you really could just do but I think my thing is like, especially with impressions, I don't like the whole like, hey guys, you want to hear an impression? That shouldn't be your setup. It should be like, it shouldn't even be like a premise. It should just kind of, you start talking about the person, and then it's like, oh man, imagine if they were somewhere. And then you put them in a scenario they wouldn't be in, and then you kind of go about it. Like I feel like Godfrey does a great job of that.
Yeah.
Jay Farrow, Matt Friend. There's a bunch of people who do really good versions of that. But I just, there is like, it's a double-edged sword. You could get stuck in it.
Right.
In my opinion, I feel like there was times in like the 2010s where I was being asked to do a lot of work and or come do shows, and they really wanted me to lean on that. And I'm like, oh well, I'm gonna work on this new stuff. And they're like, oh man, I love those. And then you kind of get lost in the impression of it all.
A lot has changed since we opened in 2010. Flappers, 15 years. That's 15 years ago.
Oh, that's great. Look at you.
Crazy?
Congratulations.
I can't believe it. We were the baby. Now we're like the toddler.
Yeah.
We're still like not the Laugh Factory, not the Comedy Store. We're different.
Yeah.
We have we look older, though, because of our decor and stuff. People think we're older than we are. Yeah. But 2010 to now, don't you think comedy has changed so much?
Wild times. Yeah, we're living in like it's almost, it's strange. How do you feel about it?
No, I was going to say.
I feel like it's cool because there's so many more avenues to get out there as a comedian. I think it's just, unfortunately, it's like you're opening the floodgates. I don't think it's bad if anyone.
It's tighter.
It's tighter, but it's also a little bit more. I feel like it's a little too accessible now. And I say that as someone who participates in I want to get more road dates and do all the things, but marketing is very much like, okay, what are we posting this week? And in posting, you almost give the audience member at home like the incentive to be like, oh, well, I don't have to come watch you if you're gonna share something with me every week. There's a weird tugging, what's it called, pull and tug with that.
I actually never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
I always feel like if you give a lot, then they want more. But
sometimes I think so, but I think it's also like, I think that's true if you're like in the top 25% of like comedians. And then there's maybe there's like a level right below it between 25 to like 40% where they also do well. But then below that, it's like tough to sell tickets.
Your podcast is huge. I mean, you have I don't know the exact numbers, but I thought your podcast has
I have
at least 40, 50, 100,000, I thought I saw.
No, well, you know what? That might be something else you've seen with me on it. I've got I've got a bunch of followers, but followers don't always translate. Followers, especially with time, because I started making content and doing stand-up around 2010, and now it's 15 years YouTube. Of people who found me at whatever age are still, they're nice enough to tap in and say, hope you're doing well and all these things, but they're older, they have responsibilities, they've got kids now, and they're like, oh man, it's been so long since I've seen you, and
Right.
So I think especially with the way the way the algorithms work nowadays, it's almost like the following number or the subscription number is almost like a vanity plate. It's nice, but it's not representative of how many people are actually tuned in or what the platforms will allow you to share.
It's like the viewers are the stalkers, right? The followers are like the engagement, and the subscriptions are.
And it feels like it's changing again. Like even now,
I think it's just very much ever so changing. I'm curious to see what happens in like a year and a half from now, where AI is running rampant.
Yeah,
because I've already seen bad AI stand-up videos.
Yes, so have
which
we.
Are like jokes. In my opinion, it's like, okay, it's like not real. We're just playing around with this technology. But what about the people who are like, oh, I'm not playing around. I want to actually see if I can turn a fake person into a real commodity, and someone figures it out. Because, right now it's...
Do you think it's going to happen?
I just think I think just like regular consumers just are too lazy for it not to, you know, because we're at a point where this is the worst the technology is, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, whatever we've seen in the last 3 months, whether it's the AI Michael Jackson's working at Walmart, which I was like, that's weird, you know, or whoever it is on our social media or whatever. If this is the worst it'll be, then there could be a point where it's just as good as what we're doing right now. So then all this is not necessarily pointless, but like I'm saying, like you wouldn't need to be here because they have like a software that could literally replicate all of us doing this exact episode. I think, unfortunately, that's what we're getting towards. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be a part of it.
But do you think that's true, really, for stand-up? Because I don't believe that's true.
For stand-up, I think for stand-up, it's not that it's true or not. I think it's just like you got to blame who's consuming it. Because if someone's like I saw a video of Tupac doing stand-up recently, and I was like, these jokes are decent. It's weird. It's so weird. He's dead. And this material is halfway making me laugh. I'm saying for someone who has less nuance than me, they're just going to be like, you know, obviously not a Tupac because they're going to, hopefully his estate sues the company. But for the way that they made up recently, the actress, Tilly Norwood or something. Yeah. There's an actress who's fake, who like agencies want to sign because they are already putting out AI marketing. I've seen one company that put out legitimately all AI commercials. I forgot what it's called, Kalshi or something. They're like a betting company, but they put out AI commercials. And if you're not paying attention and you're in the background doing your dishes or whatever, you would think it's just a regular commercial. You know that because the worst thing in the AI nowadays is like the sound. And if you just went out of your way to like do some, you know, sound mixing, you can make it sound like it's a legit thing. But I hope none of this comes true. Knock on wood. You know, I don't want it to happen. I just think it's like a part of me is like, you know, stand-up is super fun. The arts are super fun. But you might want to learn how to be a software engineer just so you can have a job.
I disagree.
Well, can I?
I mean, we all have opinions about this, but
I think that
I disagree.
That actually, at the end of the day, it's all about salesmanship. Like right now, if you go to the store, you can get organic eggs or you can get non-organic eggs. Mm-hmm. And what you're buying with the organic eggs is, oh, this is a healthier experience, blah, 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 blah. And it may be the same thing where...
Even though there's no costly chemicals on it, which I always find weird, right? It costs more to put chemicals on things. But yet they charge more for organic things, which have nothing on them.
But I mean, there could be a future where you know that this movie was made using a crew and it's all real, and then this other movie was made totally AI. But there may be people who were like, well, I want to spend the extra money for this because knowing that it was real is important in me buying it.
I've seen a skit. A friend of mine actually did a skit about that. It was similar to what you just said, the organic versus artificial. And it was like going to a movie theater and paying so much more for a movie made by humans versus paying regular prices for an artificial movie.
Yeah.
Shout out to the homie Brandon Cavillo. Met him through Vine. He's not a comedian, but he's a internet very funny guy.
AKA BJ Cavillo. Is that
I think so. Yeah.
I know.
But yes, I agree. I hope all of this doesn't happen. But at the same time, like you all just mentioned, you said it costs more to have have the organic stuff with nothing on it. But what is consumed most? Are we consuming the garbage of McDonald's more, or are people going to Whole Foods more? Unfortunately, they're all going to McDonald's because that's what they can afford and this and that. I don't want this to happen. I think I'm just kind of being practical about the fact that the majority of people, I mean, I don't think there's a huge like base of people who are just like, give me artificial stand-up. I think it's more like the folks who are not going out of their way to pay tickets to watch stand-up right now are not going to care what the difference is. People who are actually fans of the art form, I would hope, continue to keep coming out and keep checking it out and see live stuff. And, you know, we might have just like an artificial civil war. Who knows? We might just
like it's headed.
I mean, we just might get to a place where we're just arguing with robots and the robots are like, let us tell the jokes. Like, I don't know.
Well, the one thing I love about the Flappers brand is I keep saying that, like, we do truly represent Prohibition in the sense of we're probably going to be the ones that hold out from the AIs.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
You can't, you know, we're going to be the ones with real people serving real drinks. And I don't know. I believe that stand-up of all the mediums is probably the most resilient in the AI realm because of emotional connection, and it's going to take years to train an AI of some sort to have this nuance of emotions that a human has. And humans have been telling stories since, the dawn of man, cavemen around a campfire, and, theater in Greek and Roman times. And there's always somebody performing in front of someone else.
See,
right?
but
that sounds sappy?
No, I disagree.
I agree. I
even
agree with that.
Even as technology has progressed all these years, it's, nothing can replace. Come on, we're going to have sex with robots? I know they're already out there, but I'm just saying, how are you going to mimic that human blood and touch?
Here's the thing: like, look at music, like what AI has been able to do with music, and how people, there are these pop songs that are coming out, and people cannot tell that it was done by AI, and that's now. And so I don't think it's
some big lawsuits over that.
Yeah, there should be.
They're coming down.
I don't see it. What I find hysterical about it is that AI is looking at us, like AI is looking at Mozart, going, "Yeah, I could do better."
That's funny. Yeah.
Like it's looking at us, going, "Like, you guys think you're so great. Well, you're not." But again, when radio and TV came out, theater didn't disappear.
Correct.
There's still
That's
Broadway.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think
it's,
it'll
and it's a
disappear.
totally different experience.
It'll just be harder to sell tickets because now we're competing with the robots.
But look at
next door.
comedy's having a resurgence right now. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like bigger than the '80s right now.
I think it's definitely
It's
big,
everywhere,
for sure. Yeah.
and comics are everywhere. As far as numbers in a comedy club, I don't think that's necessarily related to what's going on with AI. At least in the U.S.
No, I think they're separate.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's a whole different thing going on with our country. But
Well-
we don't have to get into that right now.
That piece of it is people losing jobs to AI
Yes.
and higher unemployment.
Well,
that is,
so I guess AI can be, you could say, is related to that. But
I think
It's-
you all who own the clubs definitely hold the line. But
I'm holding the line.
yeah,
We're holding the
well, I
line.
mean, you all don't. Yeah, I think as long as there's live performances, I think if anything, those will probably go up to the top in comparison to things that can be replicated and sold digitally. You can't sell a comedy show like
Live
in person.
experience.
Yeah, a live experience. I mean, you could obviously film it and shoot it, but
even it's not even the same when you watch it.
no, yeah, that's the
right?
thing.
It's
Yeah,
just
you
different.
almost feel like you're on the third wheel on a date watching through your phone. So for
Same with Broadway, like they're doing
Yeah.
Broadway shows on tape, and it's just not the same.
No,
Yeah.
it's just another source of revenue. And I think if anything, I don't think there's anything to worry about. I think it's more just, if anything, it's on the consumer. The consumer has to want to not consume artificial stuff. But
Josh.
but I think there's a lot of people, especially the newer generations growing up, where this is just their normal. So
Yeah.
if they didn't live a life where it's like, oh, we go to the movie theater, we don't have to just turn on Disney Plus. That's a different
Yeah.
experience for a kid. Or wait, you guys like typed buttons on a thing to make a call? You didn't just say, hey Siri, call whoever. Like there's just different. They're living in the future, I guess, technically.
But I can tell you there are still a hell of a lot of young people who think they can do stand-up, and without any training, education, or anything.
Yeah,
they
that
just,
part's weird.
They show up every week at our auditions, and
but it's always been that
they're
way.
terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
I mean, I feel like you gotta. I mean, I feel like there's gotta be, because even for me, like I didn't want to necessarily do the mic, but I think you have to have the knowledge of what stand-up comedy is. Like some people will want to get into anything and not do any research. So if you're gonna use AI, at least have it Google for you what kind of comedy, what comedy is. Hey, when did stand-up comedy start?
Yeah.
Show me clips of someone from the 80s, the 60s, the 70s. Show me. Has someone ever told a joke like this? You could actually get your phone to tell you that now, which would save you a lot of time in not being hacky and or doing
ChatGPT,
bits.
yeah.
Honestly. Or just having.
But they don't. But young people, they don't even know that they should ask that question. That we have people come into auditions and they are doing other people's material just because they think. I've had people come into my class and do other people's jokes, and I go, you can't. That's not.
They don't know the etiquette.
What stand-up is. Yeah, I mean that's why it's good to.
Yeah.
Hear, and you don't even know to ask that question on AI, right?
I kind of sometimes I understand that part is frustrating as a person who does stand up. I also can not necessarily, well, empathize, I guess, with the fact that if I grew up, let's say I grew up maybe 20 years later, because I'm born in 88, 98. Let's say 2008, I am born in 2008 to now, I'd probably be 17 something, or maybe 18. I can't remember the numbers, but let's just say I started doing stand-up right now, and that's my knowledge, everything before. And my whole upbringing is like watching people get famous in their bedroom, like on YouTube or Instagram or Twitch or whatever. That's a weird, but that's crazy, right? Because
what would your dad say about that?
Oh, I remember he would just make jokes about it. He'd be like, "Bet they ain't funny," but no, but I don't blame him, because like if you watch people get famous out of their bedroom and you think that's the blueprint, then I mean, I don't blame you for thinking that way. I mean, but also, nobody's gonna just, give it to you on a platter, unless you randomly get famous off of social media, and then people who aren't real tastemakers, who work at, who are executives at companies, are just like, well, that person has this many viewers. I don't care how talented you are. Yeah. That many viewers translated to our platform is what we care about.
Yep, that's
and
all.
And then they put out garbage, and then they're like, all right, well, I guess we lost $20 million on that investment. Okay, who's the next kid?
Only 5 years ago, when the COVID happened, the pandemic, the COVID, and we had to turn our live venue into a Zoom venue. And I remember we tried to keep hope alive, and people were standing in their bedroom in front of their beds trying to tell jokes and stuff. And I kept thinking to myself during that time, there's no way that's going to be able to translate, to the stage. Literally, like from Zoom to room. Like, how does that work? And now it's almost the opposite in some ways, right? It's like that media is becoming more popular.
Yeah.
And that's what has become the comedy on Instagram now. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I just don't put that in the genre of comedy.
Of stand-up.
Like, even with people who get famous on the internet, I don't, like, I would never, how they say...
they're not David Letterman. They're not John Witherspoon.
But how they, I think the phrase is like, they call them like internet comedians. I wouldn't say that. I call them internet funny people. That's it. I do internet funny stuff too. I also do stand-up comedy. Like, I do the art form of stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
So someone who makes, skits on the internet, that's fun. I don't, but my thing is, I'm not judging you. I think if anything, good for you. Keep making stuff.
Money.
Keep making stuff. But, it's never, I don't ever blame the creative when they get thrown into the position of being not necessarily forced on stage, but you know what it is. Like, I know people who they'll get popular off of their cameras and off of the internet, and they'll live and die by the edit tool in the sense of being, comical. And then they'll get representation, and the representation just wants to make their money. Yeah. So they're just like, hey, if it's CAA, WME, if it's UTA, and we hire the next kid who is, he's got 15 million on whatever, or this on that and that. And then I look at them and I say, well, if you have so many followers online, I feel like we could fit a room of 600 5 times over the weekend. Let's try it. That I don't blame them for being kind of like coerced into being a live performer. I don't think that that's their fault. I do think it's weird when like comics tell them they have to do stand-up. I'm like, they don't have to do that. No. They could be as successful as possible with just what they're doing.
Right.
If they have the passion to do stand-up, then let them do it.
Well, there's so many more ways to be funny nowadays. That's the great part.
Yeah,
I mean, you could be funny on a podcast. You could be funny on a sketch. You could do some stupid prank. And,
well, like my dad, and just will never really watch The Simpsons, because in his mind, it's a cartoon. Cartoons are for kids.
Oh yeah.
And I think similarly.
I'm not a big fan of cartoons either.
Similarly,
old people.
But our generation is like, well, that's AI, or that's the internet. That's not television. But the younger people, they're like, no, this is
the same thing.
This is just as valid, or this is, there is something here. Mm-hmm. So it's.
Well, my question is, have you seen K-pop Demon Hunters? Huh?
I've seen a few clips. I didn't watch the whole show.
That is the combination of both what you're talking about. It's like, you have kids?
I do not have kids.
Oh, okay.
But I do watch animated shows and/or cartoons. Still like them. No, but no, I know the K-pop thing is really that animation is super popular.
It's like boy band meets vampires meets cartoon meets.
It hits all the.
I tried.
Comedy.
I watched the first 10 minutes.
Really, I thought you would like it.
I struggled a bit.
I'm sure it's fun for a particular demo. I would watch it. I just
It
haven't
wasn't
gotten around
depressing
to
enough
it.
for me.
In other cultures, I mean, Korea and even I went to Japan, and they idolize. I mean, they anime, and the childness of life is part
Yeah.
of the culture.
Youthfulness, yeah.
So but there's no stand-up in Japan. So there you go.
Yeah,
Which
no,
baffles me.
I hear there's I hear you can do it in certain small spots. I've had a few friends go do it, but it's not in the sense.
I'm telling you, if it were to ever catch fire in Japan, it would blow up.
I don't.
I'm shocked that it hasn't.
I think it hasn't because they're culturally different. They're not as outwardly expressed. If anything, Japan is like the introvert
Yes.
country. But I think, but they do have stand-up, is what I've heard. Like not a lot of it, but they have it in certain places, like a bunch of countries.
we went. Tokyo has one club, and,
Yeah.
and I performed there with another friend of mine, Laura Hayden,
Very cool.
and it was tough.
I'm sure. I think that's just culturally not their thing.
Yeah, we got to figure out when we travel to different places what is their sensibility culturally.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking about the bidet, and I thought it was so funny. It's like, who needs a boyfriend? This thing goes
And they're
backwards,
thinking
forwards.
potty humor.
Yeah, they're like, what's wrong with our bidet? You
Yeah.
know, and if I would have said, oh my God, Americans have it all wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We should have invented this thing years ago. You know, putting the Americans down instead of the actual,
Product.
concept of the
Yeah.
bidet, because they were like, well, we love our
No, their
bidets.
bidets are really good.
Oh,
Don't shit on the
I got-
bidet.
I got a buddy who has a bidet he ordered from Japan that's in his house, and he lives not too far from here. And he's like, dude,
We're
best
doing
thing
this.
I've invested
We're
in.
doing it all wrong in America. That is for sure.
Can I tell you, I've never had a bidet. I've never.
They're good.
Well,
I'm a bidet
imagine
virgin.
taking a full shower after every time you go to the bathroom. It's basically it's a
Full
wonder-
showers.
It's a wonder-
Full shower's pretty loose.
Well, a
I think-
half a shower, like a quarter
That's a
body.
really powerful
Just imagine
bidet.
being cleaner when
It's
you
a
leave.
very focused shower.
Yeah,
Can
you
we
know?
call it that?
Yeah.
Well, I did go to Malaysia once,
Oh, that's
also,
cool.
and in Malaysia, they have a hose next to the toilet, so
Oh.
it's all the bathroom is tile, and then you just hose off with the hose.
That's a little bit of a downgrade from
And so
Japan. It does-
unfortunately, I went there first, so maybe it was good that I was building up and learning. But oh no, Japan's amazing.
That's very cool.
But yes, the toilets of the world. Toilet humor doesn't work in all the world, is what I'm trying to say.
No.
But
I'm really glad we covered that point.
I
That
don't know
was
how we
fun.
got there. But what are you doing now? Like, what is your goal? So you're great. You're a great stand-up. You're great. You have a big success on the internet, being funny as
The
well.
interwebs.
But what do you want to do now? Like, what is your dream? I mean, do you have a goal in mind? Do you want to be a movie star or a
You know, I think the movie star dream, not necessarily. Like I think when I was younger, it was like, oh yeah, because I started as actor.
Yeah.
So I definitely was looking at like, oh yeah, I want to be whatever, the next big whatever. I'm just happy to get auditions, and if something big comes my way, I'll take it. You know, those are always fun. But I think I'm just more focused in this ladder of my career to focus on the things that I can control, because I feel like auditioning is pretty much out of your control.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, and I still do it. Shout out to my agents, I love it. They send me auditions, I go for them. But nowadays, I feel like we're getting into this world of, what are you creating and what are you putting out there? Mm-hmm. And I do stand up, which is fun. I still love doing that. So I'd like to, down probably in the next 2-3 years, put out a special, whether it's on my own platforms or selling it to whoever to have it for distribution. And I do still enjoy the internet. Like I don't let the algorithm control my brain. I just kind of say, hey, I'm feeling creative today. I'm going to post this thing and I'm going to upload it, or I'm going to create this thing and I'm going to upload it. So we'll, I think if there's like a thing that I see really sparks that goes in a good direction and maybe gets some interest, I'll probably hone in and focus on that. And then what I'm focusing on recently, which I was talking to Josh a little bit before this, is I did start a podcast. I've had like trial and errors with podcasts. Those are tough. They're all like, it's one of those things where you really got to want to commit to it.
Like Whitney Cummings says, you just have to have one. Basically.
I mean, as a comic, I think it's like a good way to have an outlet to speak about things that you find whether interesting or you have an opinion on. I don't know if everyone needs an opinion on everything. Comics included. I don't know if we all need to be talking about politics if we don't have the background of understanding what's going on or the cultural differences, especially being privileged Americans. So
I think more people who are uninformed should have a podcast. Frankly.
Well,
That's
those
my
are the
hot
ones.
take.
Oh, well,
those are the ones that are popular.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. As you said that, 15 were created. But no, I started a podcast that I have not fully distributed yet. I've just been in the background kind of knocking out episodes for myself. And it's called Ad Lib. It'll hopefully be out maybe by the time this is out, not sure. But if it isn't, links in bio somewhere. I don't know. But I started it because I realized after my dad passed away, I wanted to just be able to look back on conversations with people I found, like, whether important or impactful in my life. So I started doing it maybe a little over a year ago, and it's like an up and down thing where I haven't put it out because I'm like, oh, I just want to get ahead of it because I don't want to have to like let it catch fire and then I'm like, oh God, I got to edit a whole bunch of stuff and this, that, and third. So I just have like kind of open-ended evergreen conversations with people I'm interested in where I literally just ask about them and talk about like their lives.
Like women? No,
Yeah.
I mean.
Well,
if
no,
you're
I
interested
have. No, I'm married. No, no, thank you. But no, but I have had women on my podcast, which I'm proud of because I think at a certain point I had like 8 episodes in the banked, and they were all dudes, and I'm like,
Oh,
I was
gotta
like,
have a
I was
woman
like,
on there.
yeah, I was just like, I know more women. I need to hit some girls up and say hi. But I've gotten to about 24 episodes, so I think I'm far enough ahead now to put it out. And now I'm just looking at it from the perspective of, do I want to put it out all solo independently, or do I want to see if I can get someone to partner with me on it? So I've been like just kind of touching the airwaves of friends that I have who work in those avenues and ask them like, hey, do you know anybody who might want to, I don't know, first look deal or sponsor it up front or whatever. And if I think by the time, if I get close into 2026 and nothing's really caught wind on it, I'll just put it out on my own. And like down the road, I'll probably find somebody to work with if I want to, or just get the usual like ad read sponsors and all that stuff. But it's more for me. It's not about putting it out for it to become anything. I just want to I like hosting, and I also like talking to people who I think are interesting, not necessarily so like interview journalism. Like I will ask you questions, but it's like it should just be like a nice conversation between friends. If I don't know you, I'll try to make it as friendly as possible. But yeah, that's what I'm working on.
How are we doing?
We're doing great.
Okay.
I think we're having a fun combo right now. But yeah, I just look at it like 10 years from now, maybe it'll be a nice project that I've started working on, and I'll have had hundreds of people I know personally on it. But yeah, I kind of, when my dad died, I was like, dang, I don't have any like real conversations with him that I can look back at. So I was just like, oh, I wonder if I can like do that with all the people I know who are still around and friends of mine who aren't going anywhere, hopefully, So I've had like people on there, like I've had like Godfrey on there. I've had my friend Andrea Romano, who is a voice casting agent who worked for a bunch of companies. Cedric Yarbrough. I had Melanie Camacho on it so far. George Lopez did an episode. So I've got these all set and banked, and I'm gonna just release them over time.
That's great.
Yeah.
Is your wife in the business? I'm curious.
No, she. She's worked kind of like she is a professional esthetician and also has worked in similar businesses. Like she used to do makeup and stuff, but now she's a consultant and business analyst for companies.
Oh, cool.
So that is her world. And also, I think like she said that she tried acting when she was a kid, but she didn't like the whole like you didn't get it rejection part of it. And I was like, good. Because we both don't need to be getting rejected.
Yeah.
I'll take that burden,
Well, glad she didn't reject you.
No, thank goodness. No, she has not rejected me.
Does she watch all your shows?
No, I mean, she might see clips of me on the internet, but like I bring her out to the shows that I think are important. If I'm just working on stuff, it's like, this is just like just a set. Like come with me when I'm shooting my special. Come with me when I'm doing this or that. Or if you're interested, come hang out, So there's that.
It's probably good. I've dated comics and it's not good.
I don't think as a person who works in the biz, I wouldn't want to be with someone else who's in the biz because then both of us are feeling like crap every other day.
Well, and if one of you is better than the other one.
Yeah, now we're competing.
It's a whole
We're competing,
thing.
we're jealous.
Yep.
No, who wants that?
Yep.
Yeah,
and then
no.
You already get enough feedback from your significant other, and then they're giving you joke notes.
Don't need
it's
that.
Like, oh.
Be an accountant.
Ouch.
Someone go be an accountant, a CEO.
Yeah.
Someone's got to make money.
Right.
We can't.
My dad's pushing me to find a doctor. That's what he really wants.
Hey, doctors, listen. Someone should have a real job. No, I was just kidding.
I just want someone with access to the MRIs. That would be my agenda.
Your dad wants you to marry a doctor?
Correct.
Is that what he's saying?
Yes.
Just for the free health care?
That's actually not a bad
and the
plan.
money.
In this climate, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. You should sign up for sugardaddies.com or sugarmama.com.
Yeah.
That's a site where those kind of people would be looking for someone like you to manipulate. It's perfect, and you can get what you want out of it. So
Yeah.
there's a dating site for everything now.
I
It's
just
crazy.
need the right neurologist. That's all.
Yeah.
I need. I'll be good to go.
There's probably a website or a dating app where you can be just dating for doctors or
I'm sure
dating
there is.
doctors.
Yeah. I mean, we got Farmers Only, so there's that.
There's Farmers Only. That's
Farmers
a really
Only.
good site. I
Farmers
like that
Only.
site.
You
Those
know,
men are cute.
Plenty of Fish is one I've heard of.
Yep.
Aren't they all-
Field, F-E-E-L-D.
There you
Field.
go.
I
I
know
think
all
they're
of
all
them. There
owned by
is
the same company too.
It's possible.
Coffee and Bagel or something.
Is that one?
There's a Coffee and Bagel.
I met my wife before the
Oh, yes.
boom of social media like dating apps. So me and her both don't know what that world is.
When was that? What year?
2010. Like we met right.
Oh, a long time.
Yeah,
ago.
so 15,
Great.
15
Okay.
years of knowing each other, 8 years of marriage, and however many years of dating before marriage. But
So she and you met right when you were starting stand up,
yeah,
and
kind
you're
of.
still together.
Yes.
So you must be pretty good.
Scientists
Yes. She
need
thinks
to
she
study how
likes
this is possible.
Well, you know,
Because you being out all the time and going.
Well, you know
as,
what? I
you
know-
know
you-
comics do.
yes and no, because you know what's funny? I felt like the first few years of me doing stand-up, I didn't feel the need to almost be so desperate. Not desperate, but like I felt like I didn't need to hit certain goals as a comic because I was making money in other ways. So I was making money as like an actor, slightly an influencer. I had made like a YouTube channel, and and also I was just building relationships in that world. And I always looked at like whatever, like almost like a weight scale, whatever was like benefiting me more is what I focused on. So stand up, I felt like I just want to get good at stand up. So the first 4 to 5 years, I never felt like, oh, I need to like get on the road or open for somebody or this.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm going to just try to get better at joke writing. And down the road, when I feel ready, I'll go do it. But I have a lot of friends who were just strictly stand-ups and weren't doing anything else. So they felt like, oh, I need to get past here, get on there,
Yeah.
get those steps moved on so I can become like a headlining touring comedian. And I think, you can run yourself ragged with like just having one goal and only one goal. I felt like having my eggs in multiple baskets
I
made
think
sense.
that's great for any business.
Yeah.
And you're the business.
And then there's the part that nobody ever thinks of when they start in the business, where you make it to where you are headlining, and you're hot, and then you're not.
Yeah.
And then you come back down. And
I mean, I
that's-
hope you never come back down,
hope
but
nobody comes
I mean,
down.
you can go backwards though in life. I mean, that just happens. It'll as long as people are smart financially, they can hopefully hold on to it. But
Which
if you,
most people are not. to be
Yeah.
But
honest.
there's always
People
a
blow
degree
their-
of change.
blow
it
their-
I mean,
depends
you're-
on how you go back though. Like if you hold on to your core audience, I think like you can,
Do
as a
it.
comedian, I think you can like survive for a long time.
Yeah.
And just put yourself out there. I feel like there's comedians who aren't. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not relevant. I think that it's like they have their core group. And there's a lot of friends of mine who are popular now who might not be as popular in 10 years. I can't imagine, everyone's going to have the same draw. But if you build that, I think that initial core fan group, like the ones who, will still come out even when AI is selling you,
Yeah.
fake videos online of
Right.
whatever.
Of you.
Yeah, of you.
Right.
Of you.
That's
That's
weird.
true, I think that as long as you have that, like, what do they call it? That, like, true 1,000 fans, like the ones who really, 1,000 whatever number, but.
Oh no, Josh, you only have like $9.99.
Why is everyone ragging on Josh Day? What's this?
It's not everyone, it's just her. She's known you long enough to rag.
And
I
by
don't
the
rag on
way,
people.
if I have $9.99, that's way better than I thought.
Oh, good.
That's not
good.
bad. You're only one off. But no, I mean, what are you going to do? Because, there's people who were at the peak. Like Dave Chappelle's not the same peak that he was when his TV show was, but he's still Dave Chappelle.
Right.
Right.
And, like,
Yeah.
he can literally just say, oh, I'm going up wherever, and then sell out in 20 minutes. Like, as long as you have, like, a decent track record and you don't do anything crazy that would make us be like, oh, no, we all need to withdraw from being supporters of you, I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, which we won't name those comics.
Well, you can just Google them. They're out
Yeah.
there. Or just people, just terrible people.
Are you gonna have kids?
I don't know. That's my wife question.
Sorry.
No, that's her uterus, not mine. You know, I would say, you know, it's very much if she wants to put herself through 9 months of torture, that's on her.
And have another comedian in the family.
Ooh, I don't know if I don't want to compete with that kid. No, I'm kidding. But
Your dad would be very proud of you now, I'm sure.
maybe. I think
Yeah.
I think he would be proud as much as he knew what being proud was. Like he's like an old school dude from
Funny
Detroit,
guy.
11 brothers and sisters. Not enough emotional intelligence because he's very much from that generation and not the tools to be the type of dad that I wanted personally or anyone would want with their parents. But he would look at me and be like, "Good job, JD. All right." Like that. That's it. There's no more than that. No more, no less. He's like, "Okay, JD making money. That's it." Like, and that's his version of I'm proud of you because you figured out how to do it without, you know, bothering me or needing anyone else's help. So
Boy, Letterman sure changed so quick with the it was like one day.
Oh yeah, after he got off work.
Yes, after he got off
one
work.
day after the show was retired, he was like, "All right, cool, I can grow this out now."
What? I still look at him and I see the Letterman of years ago. You know,
Yeah.
it's just, but he was so funny on was it the Conan tribute, I think, or whatever?
Yeah,
One of the
yeah.
Conan tribute. He's a genius.
No, he's a good guy. I like
What
him.
an honor to have him as your godfather.
It's very
pretty cool.
fun. That's why my podcast I like it's unique because it's very much like you're not sure who's going to be on this thing.
Yeah.
I have episodes where I'm just talking with like some friends I grew up with who I'm really close to, and then I have episodes because of, you know, shout out to my dad for all his hard work and also, you know, putting our family within, you know, I guess the realm of other entertainers and people, and even my own working in like the digital industry, because I know a bunch of like content creators who are like super famous that just are buddies of mine. I'm just, you know.
Did you just randomly start doing YouTube videos and you got a channel going?
I feel like
Sounds
everything.
like
I feel like my entire career is random. A friend of mine told me I was funny. That led to TV. Another friend of mine told me he dared me to do stand-up. That's why I'm a comic.
Yeah.
And then internet, another buddy of mine was like, when I started acting, because I was like 2 years in acting and not booking anything, he said, "Have you thought of making videos on YouTube?" And I'm like, "No, for what?" And then he's like, "I don't know. I see like these people online now. They call them YouTubers." This is like 2009, 2010. And I was like, "Oh, that's like a thing?" He was like, "Yeah, I guess." He was like, "I don't know." And it wasn't even about money. I think he mentioned like, I think they're getting paid. I'm like, "That's cool, whatever." But he was just like, "I don't know, another outlet for you to put stuff out because you want to be an actor." And I did. I started like my first started like my first 7 years like making sketches, and I part of me wants to go back to it, but it's just so like a lot of work to make a sketch.
Yeah.
Just in the sense of self-producing it, which I know how to do it. Like I can do it for free technically if I wanted to, but it's then at the end of the day I still gotta like write it, shoot it, edit it, block it out, shot list it, and then get a friend or do it solo and do a whole skit, or get a friend who doesn't know how to act and then walk them through lines, and then or get like-minded people who do want to make skits. That's a thing. But a part of me doesn't want to do skits anymore. I'm like, no, I just like posting stand-up now. But
so you must have started when is it Ray William?
I know Ray. I've worked with him.
Ray came here. We opened in 2010, and it was right around that time. Ray William Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And he, I think he was one of the first sort of influencers we had perform here.
Very fun.
And it was crazy. Everyone came out.
He was really
to see him.
big. Was it right when you opened, or a few years?
2010, I think.
Yeah, 2011. Between
maybe?
2010 to 13, because there was a point where he was the first guy with 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I remember, because I've met him because I worked with him on a different project with another friend of mine, Michael Gallagher. And I was like reading some, like he needed somebody to read lyrics for a song he was making. But I don't think he does stand up anymore. He might, I have no idea. But he's still doing well. He's like an old school.
I know. I just saw a bunch of his clips.
Yeah.
But it was fun because I had a young stand-up comedian at the time I was managing, Samuel J. Comroe, and he opened for Ray in the main room here, and it helped launch Sam too.
Very cool.
Because he got all these new followers through Ray and then Ray had him on the show and Man, the power of that. So yeah,
The power of the
you were
internet.
one of those original YouTubers.
I mean, it's funny. I was.
Now they're
I-
called content creators.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, yeah, it was only YouTube back
I
then.
know. It
That's
was,
why I don't like this new landscape,
Yeah.
because I used to only have to focus on one platform.
Yeah, now you.
Now I got to do 12, and I'm like, man, this is too much work. Which is funny because I do meet some people, and it's funny. I was right in the cusp of, I did like 2 to 3 years of traditional entertainment, and then got into internet stuff. And then as I was doing both, I just kind of valued them the same. I kind of said, okay, well, I'm not getting any traditional work. I'll see what I can get in the digital world, and then vice versa. And yeah, because I'm like one of the few people who have the scope of like understanding the etiquette of traditional entertainment and how to behave, and also how to like work towards real goals and like have a resume, have a what's it called?
You grew up with all that.
Yeah, and also I grew up with a person who was very traditional in entertainment, and like I look, so
You
like
have a headshot?
I do.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a physical one on me anymore. I have
isn't that
it on my
sad?
phone, and I'm like, oh, email it to you right now, or text it to
It's
you.
weird not having. I'm of the days of the old headshot.
I was
and
around
resume.
I would have like 30 in my car just
Black
to have
and white
them.
only, please.
You know what's funny? I maybe had one of those. I had some terrible headshots. I need to actually go back and find a picture of them and react to them because they're so bad.
I printed my resume on the back of a headshot and
Yeah,
even
I did that.
started a business doing that for
That's
other
smart.
actors.
Yep.
And then they'd be like, well, what if something changed? I go, well, then you just print one at a time and you print the changes on your new resume.
But the resumes now are your social media.
Yes.
That's unfortunately the truth.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I get out of a job as soon as I meet anyone who's important, or even if it's a casting person or
What's your Instagram?
Yeah, well, no, they don't even ask. It's just one of those things where it's like, if you just finished an audition, let's just say you finished one. The first thing that a normal human's brain's dopamine does is say, let me Google this person, if they're Googleable. You know, if I really liked them during that audition, like, whether it's casting or an executive, they'll be like, that's cool. Let's see what they got on the web. Because I want to know what they know more about them as a person.
Yeah.
And also maybe make some sort of, I don't know, ethical choice in the sense of like, have they said anything where we can't cast them? Have we?
Oh, that's funny.
Have they?
That's probably more true. Yeah.
Yeah, or I mean, I've lost a gig not because I was a terrible person. And this was a digital gig, so it wasn't even traditional. But I had a sponsor thing for a friend of mine's award show that he does. It was a digital gig, but I forgot. I tweeted something about the brand that was going to hire me.
Oh God.
But it was like very. It was funny because it wasn't rude, but it was enough for, I guess, I can understand if you're the CEO and you see it and you're like, oh, fuck this guy. Because it was for, what's that company? Truth, the one that did the smoking campaigns.
Oh yeah.
Right, the anti-smoking campaigns.
Right.
And I remember they put out a commercial back in like 2014 that was weird to me because it was them talking about how celebrities are free billboards for cigarettes. And they showed a commercial of like Chris Brown and Rihanna and Robert Downey Jr. and a bunch of actors and people who were, just on the street in New York being paparazzi shot walking around. And they were like talking about how they were free publicity. But then I was like, well, Truth, on Twitter, I think I tweeted out like, well, this is a weird commercial to post because you're not making me want to not smoke. You're making me want to smoke because these are cool people.
Right.
These are cool-ass people,
wouldn't
and
we?
you're telling me that cool-ass people promote cigarettes? Hell yeah. And I wrote something very
Sounds
simple.
funny.
Well, it was very much like, I was like, does Truth Orange know that they're just promoting cigarettes with this ad instead of being like anti-cigarette? And I think the job was later in like 2021, and then I guess someone on their PR team saw that I tweeted about them, and they were like, "Yeah, we're not going to give him this guy like this gig." And it's funny because my friend who owned like the whole project that they were going to be a part of, he sent me an email like, "Dude, I don't know what just happened, but they were like they are not down anymore." And I'm like, "Oh, what happened?" They said you tweeted something. And I'm like, dawg, that was like 7 years ago. It got no one liked it. Like, I was like, they could have just told me to delete it, but it must have like, because my friend is a guy who's successful in like the gaming industry. He must have been speaking with like someone higher up from that company, if not the CEO or owner. So they might have seen it and been like, oh, fuck this guy. Like, just a simple.
I think it was the first maybe 2 years I was in business, and I took a vacation, and there was a female comic here. I can't remember. It wasn't Lisa Lampanelli, who was another female comedian. I can't remember her name now. I said Lisa, so I have it in my head. But anyway, on stage, the comedian, this was before what's going on today, but this female comedian was just like, oh my God, what a shithole, Flappers. I can't believe it. And there's no parking around here. And, the food is terrible. And there's like 200 people in the audience. And my general manager texted it to me where I was traveling. And I was like, and he goes, what do we do? I go, never book her again? I mean, what was she thinking? I don't get it. But now what's funny is a lot of famous comedians have made jokes about our name. I don't know if you knew this. Everybody, Jerry Seinfeld, Garland, Leno, they're all like, Flappers, Flappers, Ray Romano, Brad Garrett. What, Flappers? Sounds like a whorehouse or whatever, silly stuff like that. And, we took all those negative comments and put them in an upcoming events video.
Oh, funny.
And that's what we show people when they come to the club at the beginning. It's all the people saying stupid things about us. See, I think any mention
embrace
is
it.
Good mention, as long as it's not like,
when
not like real crossing the hurt line stuff.
Yeah,
but,
no.
Being silly about stuff like what you did.
Being silly.
That could have been a great campaign.
Yeah, being silly versus being malicious is different. Like if you're getting booked on a show to do it here or anywhere, most comics when they do kind of go out of their way to shit on the room is never about the room. It's about the insecurity of the comic more or less because maybe there's not enough people in the crowd for them or maybe they didn't draw enough people. There's that.
That's usually it.
That's usually.
You almost went into a voice with that. I don't know who it was.
Oh, I'm just talking.
But
My bad.
Well, maybe you didn't draw.
Yeah. But no, I think
you sounded like it. Yes.
Well,
it's Lorne Michaels. It sounded like Lorne Michaels.
Famous
Oh,
agent.
that's funny. I've met Lorne. Lorne's an interesting guy. Through Dave actually. Super random side story. When my dad passed away, he was just Dave asked me if I needed any help in my career, and I was like,
wow.
I mean, if you got a show you want me to host, I'm down because I just got off of working a TBS show and also a show I hosted for Facebook Watch, and I'm like, I like hosting. I kind of like what you did growing up. I wouldn't mind being like a next generation late night host. That'd be something cool if that's ever an option. And then after we got off the phone, I randomly texted him and was like, oh. And this is like I wasn't even really thinking about it. I was just like, you know what's cool? SNL's cool. And I just was like, I didn't think like it would mean anything. But I just told him, I was like, SNL's, I was like, to me, that's not even like, because there's people who are like, that's their main goal. I look at it like that'd be a nice little checklist. That'd be something I feel like it would be cool to be a part of that institution, do that thing. Because I did the CBS Diversity Showcase back in like 2014, 15, and it's very much like an SNL type boot camp. You go in, you shoot, you do all the skits every single day. You write them, you trash them, you write them, you trash them, and then you perform it later. But I think I just told that to Dave passingly, like literally just a text. And then like a week or two later, his like assistant called me and was like, "Hey, I got Lorne Michaels' office number for you." And I was like, "What? What do you mean?" And she was like, "I don't know. Dave said you mentioned SNL to him, so he had dinner with Lorne recently, randomly." And then he brought up Lorne and like sold you to him. Like he told Lorne all about you and like Lorne wants to maybe meet with you. And I was like, what? I was so confused. And then I was like, okay.
Did you?
Yeah. So it was very cool because then
I'm jealous.
I got his office number. I called up to, Rockefeller, and then it was his assistant at the time. And she was like, oh, hey, yeah, Witherspoon, right? Yeah. Lorne's heard a bunch about you from Dave. And she was like, are you going to be in New York anytime soon? And blah, blah, blah. And my wife is like sitting next to me listening. And she's like, tell them yes, you'll be in New York. Fucking lie to them.
Suddenly she's your
agent. Oh, yeah. She's she's like my manager. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I was thinking about being there this fall. And then I remember I told that to my manager and agent. And then my manager was smart enough to say, see if you can go the week of this Eddie Murphy reunion, because that was the one where he came back after like 30 or something years. And then I told them I was free that weekend, and then I did go, and then they were like, cool, Lorne will meet you with you in his office at 5 and whatever. And then Lorne invited me to the show the next day. And like it was a cool sit down. He very much just like, we talked for a while. Like, and I heard that like he doesn't do that. I don't
think I've ever heard
even people,
tell me that story.
Even people who are on the show don't necessarily get a chance to sit and chat with him. Like even if you book the job. Yeah. So, and obviously I'm getting like the highest of recommendations. To me, it's not that high because it's just Dave. I've known him forever. But Dave Letterman, Letterman telling, So
he's
then
talk to you.
Yeah. So then me and Lorne sat there and chatted up for like 45 minutes to an hour. in his office. He offered me popcorn. He's a big popcorn guy. But it's funny, I heard on a podcast from, I think Tina Fey said, if he offers you popcorn, don't take it. It's like a test or something. And I genuinely didn't want any in the moment. And it wasn't normal popcorn. It wasn't like popcorn in like a bag. It was popcorn in like a whole tray. And it was like not in any type of dish. Just the tray was in, it was open, and it was just dumped full of popcorn. And then he was like, popcorn. And I was like,
no.
and I was just like, oh, I'm good right now. And he was okay with it. He's like, okay. You know what he is? He's the ultimate neutral person. You have no idea if he likes or dislikes you. And I was just sitting there thinking, well, I was like, if he didn't like me, we could have stopped literally 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd think he would have.
No, he could have just
Somehow.
very much been like, yeah, blah, blah,
Nice
blah.
to meet
and
you.
Yeah,
Bye.
it could have very much been that. But he was nice enough to, and I think, unfortunately, this is where I hate 2020 and the whole pandemic, is that the momentum of all this whole interview got cut because of the pandemic. And we met in like fall of 2019. He was like, all right, well, he's like, I'll get, and he set me up with like meetings with his production company out here in Los Angeles, which is funny because the guy who is the president of the production company now used to be an intern on a show my dad was on with Tracy Morgan, which was his show, the Tracy Morgan show that had like one season on NBC. But he was like, I remember you. He was like, you were like 11 on set with your dad. And I'm like, look at that. Full circle. That's fun.
Cute.
But yeah, they were like, we'll try to get you in for all these shows that they were developing. And unfortunately, just the pandemic kind of sizzled all that out. And even like, because I would like to, I think.
Would you go back and audition? You could.
Well, if I ever got an audition, I'd definitely go for it. I think it was one of those things where I told Lauren very much like the concept of, I didn't want to like beg for a gig. I kind of told him like, would be great. Because he said, he said the same thing. What do you see for your future? And I was like, well, I just got done hosting a show. I just did this show on TBS, or I'm on this show on TBS. I was like, if I were to come here one day maybe and work and be on SNL and then work my way to being like a late night host like a Jimmy Fallon, that'd be cool. I kind of gave like I have a blueprint for my life kind of conversation instead of like give me a gig, give me a job. I didn't want to, I felt like, I feel like when you know what you want, people respect that more. And he was like, okay, cool. All right, well, and then he was like, are you here for the weekend? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, maybe you should come back to the show tomorrow night and hang out. And then I did, and it was very cool. And I got to go to their they do like after every episode, they do like an after party thing that they host at whatever random restaurant or bar that they somehow get them to keep their whole place open from 2, because the show ends at like 1:30. The parties from 2 to 5.
I've heard.
Yeah.
I was at a bar in New York this last year, and I heard that all the SNL people come here all the time.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it was late.
No, super late.
Yeah,
like they
well, it has to
reopen. They do like he's a bajillionaire, so they just reopen the club and/or it's not even clubs. It's like it could be a restaurant.
Yep.
It could be a. It could be like
There was a drag bar.
It could be
and
it could be a department
a
store.
gaming room.
It could be
Yeah,
anything.
right.
any
go
any
somewhere.
space that will allow them in. But it's funny because like I'm in the world. I still have emails. I still have his office number. But he just said if you're ever in New York, reach out. And I was like, yeah, for sure. And like even now, if I would still definitely audition. I haven't had the opportunity to audition, but.
Okay, do your 5 impressions right now for Lauren Michaels' audition. Come on.
No, but I don't.
We'll wrap it up.
Five off the rip. The thing is, you have to have ones that like are topical. I think that's
Okay. Trump.
But they're not gonna put me in there for Trump. That's the thing. You have to.
Look at him talking.
Or you could just do stand up. Like
That's true.
shout out
All
to the homie Cam Patterson who just got on the show.
Yes.
Right.
And Cam is he's just got wild stories about his life. He's
and
a fun
I forgot her
dude.
name already, but there's a local New York young comic stand-up girl who was on, and she.
Most recently?
Yeah, this year. Sorry, my
Yeah,
name's.
yeah.
I'm bad with my
But
name.
I think at the end of the day, a lot. Like, I don't know if you've watched that. They have that thing on. I think it's the Peacock app where it's like the 50th anniversary of SNL, and they
Yes.
talk about the whole auditioning
So
process.
good.
And they're just looking for like something unique. They like even if you give them their usual like cut and dry, like
Yeah.
oh yeah, 3 characters, 5 impressions, that might not mean anything unless you have something that like really stands out to them. So I think like. And it's interesting because they have hired a lot of stand-ups in the last few years,
Yep.
and stand-ups not a lot of them do impression. I mean, I feel like it's
Yeah.
maybe 12 of us who do them.
Yeah.
And like I think those are beneficial though. When you get on the show, it's fun if you can do those.
Yeah.
But it's probably even more fun if you're like a Kate McKinnon, where you have a bunch of ideas of weird, obscure characters. And
Those
people.
audition tapes were fun to watch.
Yeah. Shout out to SNL though.
Yeah, shout out. Well, I hope to see you as their next cast member.
That would be fun. I'd be
All
down. I'd love to do that.
Well, we do have to wrap it up a little bit here.
Let's
but
do it.
when are we going to see you here at Flappers next?
Let me know.
Josh is the booker,
I
so
gotta
get
talk.
JD
I gotta
on the
talk to
sketch.
Josh. We gotta
We'll figure it out.
Get on the sketch immediately.
Yes.
Have me up here. We'll do it.
Okay, but before we go, would you like some popcorn?
I'll take some from you.
Good callback. Good callback.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
joining
having
us
me.
today, and I wish you luck with your new podcast.
I
And
appreciate it.
one of our favorite guests so far.
Thank you.
And please feel free to take your emotional support
will.
chicken, just in case you need it. Thank you, Josh. All right, everybody, join us again for another episode of Flappers Presents.
Later.